We just got another new trailer for the upcoming final season of Andor, and a little disappointed. They call this a trailer, but it's only a minute 22 seconds long. That's teaser territory. I need to see more of this show.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no.
Either way, I think we know what we're getting with Andor. If you're in at this point, you're in. If you're not, I don't know what to tell you. Either way, I'll break down what I noticed in today's video. By the way, thanks to everyone who gave me feedback yesterday on the sticker and magnet designs for the fleet builder. We've got the Nebula Star Destroyer up in both magnet and sticker form today, but I'm also happy to announce that we will be doing top-down designs as well, so you can do your own battle breakdowns. Link below. Anyway, the trailer starts off with, of course, the Imperial Klaxon and another look at what is almost certainly Gorman. I did an entire video on what the Gorman Massacre is, why it's so important, and why we're almost certainly seeing it in Season 2. But in short, it will be the site of a major Imperial atrocity. I will say I love the look of this city. It almost seems like it was built around some historic citadel. That, of course, contrasted with a nice look at Coruscant. Coruscant in this show looks a lot different than the Coruscant we see in the prequels. It's less glamour and more brutalist concrete. I think that was certainly on purpose. Either way, I think we're seeing Dedra's apartment, most likely. This has sort of a pod look to it. It's how you'd store a lot of people in a mega city like Coruscant, I do believe. I'll have to double check. We do see various ISB buildings in Season 1, including one which will appear later in the trailer, but I'm always down for more Coruscant. We then get a shot of Cassian and a couple planets across the galaxy. I want to mention this one first. Initially, I saw the brown and I thought Saw Gerrera was on the same grassy planet as the Rick's Road survivors, but this is Jeddah. And based on the Star Destroyer, which is over Jeddah City, which is recognizable because of its walls and its singular tall tower, this could be taking place right before Rogue One. We know the show will be split up into different arcs, with each arc taking place over a year, terminating right before Rogue One. Well, we see that Star Destroyer take off in the film. Jeddah is interesting in Mask of Fear. It's a pilgrimage for those mourning the loss of the Jedi. That was, however, right after Order 66. Initially, when recording this review, I said, we don't know why the Star Destroyer was there. In my mind, I thought it was Kyber crystals, but I rewatched Rogue One, and Cassian does say, to Jyn specifically, it's what they're taking out, which is important, which is Kyber crystals from the various monasteries and wherever else. The other shot we see is Brasso being harassed on this farming world. Hate to see them do it to my guy. I don't think that this is in any way in connection with what happened on Ferrix. I could be wrong, but I think we're just seeing the Empire crack down. The reason why I say I could be wrong is because it seems like all the Ferrix survivors who fled with Cassian are on this planet now, which I do think is Dantooine, but we'll come back to that. We see Saw looking, he's in rough shape. The man has gone wild, and I'm curious to see how extreme he will be in this season. We're learning about the different constituent elements of the Rebel Alliance. I think they're all going to have their moment in the sun. They're all going to have to make big decisions. Saw with his partisans and his extreme, violent, revolutionary tactics. Mon Mothma, the political activist, we'll come back to that in a moment. Luthen, who's trying to ignite a populist revolution through any means necessary. And I hope we will also get to see some of Bail Organa too. Anyway, on to Mon Mothma, we see that she's about to make a very impassioned speech before the Senate. She's shaking. Mask of Fear does a great job of showing the extreme amount of stress she's under, even early on in the Imperial era. People are being disappeared. She's been tortured. By this point, any sort of speech against the Emperor, he doesn't need to justify killing you, he can just do it. Anyway, later in the trailer, we see her saying, the monster will come for us all. As I covered earlier on the channel, one of the big moments for the rebellion before the Battle of the Death Star is the Gorman Massacre, when Mon Mothma openly in the Senate stands up to Palpatine, which leads to her fleeing and joining the Alliance. This could be what we're seeing here. The Gorman Massacre, however, was not one event. We see in Season 1 that there's already discussion in the Senate regarding how the Empire is treating Gorman. This could be a part of the big speech we hear a tail end of during Star Wars Rebels, or it could be something else. Either way, I mentioned the Rebel leaders. We also see Luthen. Cassian asks if it goes up in flames. Luthen says it will burn. This is his mentality. I think we could see Luthen be partially responsible responsible for whatever the Empire does to the civilians on Gorman, and I think it could have been on purpose, i.e. Luthen may help set up the uprising to put the atrocity bare before the rest of the galaxy. Tony Gilroy called Luthen an accelerationist. I really like that description of him. In Season 1, he says, the Empire has been choking us out so slowly we're starting not to notice. The time has come to force their hand. People will suffer, Mon Mothma says. That's the plan, he responds. Anyway, we see what looks like a Gozanti? I think it's a Gozanti coming to this farm world that the Ferric survivors are now inhabiting. And okay, I'm just spitballing here. I know earlier I said I think this is Dantooine, but I also think Dakar is in this show, almost certainly. I talked about this earlier on the channel. The mountains are very, very distinctive. We see similar looking mountains here. It's certainly possible that Dakar could have an environment like the one we're seeing here and the Rebel base within a very close proximity. This shot was interesting. I saw it and thought immediately crime syndicate, but if you look carefully, there's a landing pad and a Lambda shuttle. Could this be the villa or retreat of some Imperial governor? Maybe an assassination target for the Rebel Alliance. I mentioned the ISB headquarters. Well, here it is. Somehow the Alliance finds out about the Death Star, and of course we have Krennic. We got a good look at Saw's partisans, including my main man, Moroff. Anyone who played Star Wars Force Arena remembers this dude. It looks like Star Wars is going to make sex canon again. That's great. And this scene is interesting. Either Dedra is being force choked by Darth Vader, or I think more likely she's having a panic attack. It almost looks like she's in an isolation room or a cell of some sort. I think she's trying to take her collar off because she's panicking. Anyone can be accused of treason within the Empire. That would be an interesting angle for this season, to see Imperials turn on the monster they've helped create. Also, a lot of you rightly pointed out in one of my past videos that what I thought was some weird meeting of the elites is in fact the Mothma family wedding. And the last thing I'm wondering, could this be Kenari? I mean, it's a jungle world. There are billions of jungle worlds in the Star Wars galaxy, but it looks to me like Kenari, the planet Cassian Andor initially came from. You know, the search for his sister was one of the plot points of Season 1. I wouldn't be surprised to see brought back for Season 2. Anyway, that's my thought. I watched this trailer and I wasn't sure whether I could get a full 8 to 10 minute video out, but here we are. Probably even more to discuss. I didn't even talk on the TIE Avenger because I have so much. Anyway, I'm so excited. I can't wait to cover this show. It's going to be stressful, 3 episodes a week. We'll see. Anyway, see you guys next time. Bye-bye.